Hello, crystals. Today I've got a gift video for you. It is originally made for my sister Junie. I wanted her to have something she could listen to with my voice on it and a little piece of Without Light, so I chose a nice scene for her. One of my personal favorite scenes in Without Light, it's from chapter 24, Destiny Dancing. And after I read part of this scene, I'll go back and give you my commentary. Now keep in mind that I did write this a little while ago, and it is one of many takes on the same scene, so I'll be critiquing it as if I wasn't the one that wrote it, because it has been a while since I've written it, and it's new every time. It's hard to explain. But here we go. It takes place at Kintra and Midori's wedding. And recently, Heather has been having these strange dreams of herself in love with some guy who looks like Kuro, but he's not. She gets the chance to see that guy today. Time itself seemed to slow at that moment, with the snowflakes fluttering about and the blissful smiles of each dancing partner. The girls twisted by in streams of silk colors, and the boys led the way, charming and lithe. Their dancing kicked up fluffy white snow, and their laughs filled the air. But suddenly, everything seemed to change, at least in Heather's world. Before, she'd been nearly shivering, fingers numb from the cold. But something happened then that lit her heart back to near stifling warmth. "It's the GoldenEyed Kuro!" Her eyes had just barely caught that one glint of gold, and the Kuro himself didn't notice as he swept right on past her, long black hair whipping behind with his matching regal robes. Atop his head sat an intricately designed golden crown, which he himself looked born to wear. Heather's heart seemed to stop in her chest, and she could not even think. This man was not man at all, but instead seemed the most glorious creature to have ever drawn breath. Vaguely she knew he could not possibly be Kuro. He looked just a bit older, but had that same masculine build, and that same hair that nearly dragged the ground as it trailed behind him. She couldn't even force her eyes away from him. Her mind teased mercilessly, drawing up images of herself wrapped around him, where she somehow knew she belonged. This feeling was not even what Kintra's magical eyes had evoked, but something much stronger still, something more real compared to Phoenix seduction. She almost felt as if such daydreams were something else, almost like memories. As he walked, gaze focused upward, the crowd parted like the sea, wolves and dragons alike stopping mid-dance to greet and offer the bows he deserved. He waved each of them off, and Heather bitterly wished she were them, just to be met with those magical eyes. She wanted to be recognized by him, appreciated by him, because he was so purely magnificent. On the other side of the garden, Kintra and Midori had paused in their waltz. Kintra confused at first, and Midori stunned. Oh wow, so father actually came. He made to go greet Kuroi, but Midori suddenly caught him and pulled him right back. "Get Heather out of here," she whispered gravely, as if her very life depended on it, and to his utter shock, Kintra realized his new bride was shivering, not from the cold, but from fear. Those terrified emerald eyes darted quickly to his father and then back. "Please, Kintra, you must. Please go and take Heather somewhere, anywhere else." He caught her hands in his own, offering a bow. "Of course I will," he assured, nuzzling close to calm her down. "Don't worry, okay? I'll go do that right now." She nodded, trying to get a hold of herself, and gave Kintra one last kiss before he set off. Now, with Kintra busy, Midori herself would have to take the reins and distract their king. His mere arrival had all but crashed every one of her plans. Even the after-party would have to wait if Kuro might be intending to stay. "Brother?" He only stared up at the sky, watching the snowfall instead of Midori. He recognized her by heat signature anyway. "You've come to attend the wedding?" Kuroi shook his head, not seeming to care about the cold snowflakes melting gently on his face. "I came to speak with the sky," he absently said. "It would seem a member of snow dancer royalty died on this day. What a waste." "Oh, how sad," Midori offered, nonchalantly placing herself on his right so he wouldn't turn and see where Kintra was heading. She couldn't even begin to realize that Kuroi might be speaking of her very own son, but neither did he. "This, seems a strange day for such things, huh?" "It does, but haven't you noticed? Strange things are everywhere these last moons. Even this makes little sense. The sky mourns a grievous loss, yet it sends this instead of a blizzard." "Storms raged everywhere to mourn the Lightning Queen on the night she died, or at least they had been until recently." "What do you mean?" "That even the sky can no longer grieve." He finally met her eyes face to face then, and Midori had to force herself not to avoid his all-seeing gold one. "It means my Haku has returned." Midori feigned surprise, smiling with her usual charm. "Wishful thinking," she teased. "I felt no such joy from the flowers." "Flowers do not sing until spring," was all he had to say to that. He then raised one hand to the sky, and with a simple flick of the wrist banished the snow. The soft white flurries tapered off into powder as the sun reappeared. "This is better for a wedding." He played with the clouds as if conducting a choir, and with slow, gentle movements coaxed the sky into clarity. The rest of this video will be my comments on Kuroi's first appearance. I think it interesting, first of all, that he crashes his new daughter's wedding, and of course his own son's wedding, and openly admits that he's not there to attend the wedding, he's there to speak with the sky. Kuroi seems cryptic, but I'm not sure if he even does that on purpose. I think to him he's speaking clearly and with purpose, but to us it makes little sense. I think even to Midori it sometimes makes little sense. But it's interesting to see that she speaks back to him in the same cryptic tone. She says, "I felt no such joy from the flowers." So he says he speaks to the sky, and she responds with, "Well, I've been speaking to the flowers, and they don't say that." And he says, "Flowers do not sing until spring." So I think that's very clever. I wonder if it's a quip. Maybe he's making fun of her because her powers are all in tune with things that only happen during the sunny months of the year. You've got spring and summer where Midori shines, but Kuroi seems to be pointing out the fact that his powers work all year long. And I think it amazing that he just, raises one hand and forces it to stop snowing. He actually changes the weather with one hand. This doesn't seem like some kind of magic that a fire breather would have. Fire breathers, of course, breathe fire. They can blow things up. So it would have made more sense if he had summoned fire to melt the snow. But I think he also realized that if he had done that, it would have turned into rain. So he did not simply bring out the sun or get rid of the clouds or even use fire to melt the snow. He eliminated it. And what does that mean? That he can control even the weather. I'm wondering if there's anything Kuroi cannot control. And besides all of that, Midori is terrified of him even seeing Heather, but it's it's funny because Heather sees him, and the first thing she wants is his attention. She wants to be in the limelight. She wants to be where he can see her and he'll recognize her. And even fantasizes about being wrapped around him, which is strange because she thinks him striking at first because he looks like Kuro, who she's in love with. So, recognizing that this is not Kuro, she shouldn't feel so drawn to him, you know? She should realize, wait a minute, this is obviously a member of Kuro's family, so he should be off limits, right? But she doesn't. It's almost as if she can't even control how much she is drawn to this guy. But she doesn't get a chance to meet him because Kintra does succeed in distracting her and taking her back to the palace. So the wedding is basically ruined at this point, or at least it's ruined for Heather, but they do continue it later without the snow. I love the description in this scene. I think it's beautiful. I'd like to add even more and make it even more beautiful, and I'm open to any suggestions on what you guys think. Originally, this video was created in honor of my sister, June. I wanted her to have a little piece of Without Light in my voice that she could listen to because I thought she'd enjoy that. See you later, crystals.